Everything around you is energy, invisible, vibrating, intelligent. Joe Dispenza calls it the quantum field. Tesla called it the energy that connects all matter. And your emotions and thoughts are the tuning fork that shapes how that field responds. Most people try to change their lives from the outside, forcing, pushing, reacting. But the field doesn't respond to effort. It responds to frequency. You don't command it with willpower. You instruct it through coherence. Every thought you think is an electrical signal. Every emotion you feel is a magnetic charge. Together, they form your electromagnetic signature, the personal broadcast you're sending into the field every second. And the field, by nature, mirrors back whatever matches that signal. If your thoughts say, "I want abundance," but your heart feels lack, the field reads confusion. If you say, "I'm ready for love," but still carry unworthiness, the field can only return experiences that prove your belief. The field doesn't hear your words, it hears your energy. Joe says, you can't create a new reality with the same personality. To reprogram the field, you must first reprogram yourself, not by thinking harder, but by feeling differently. That's the real secret. You have to become emotionally familiar with your future before it exists. Gratitude, joy, freedom, love, those feelings are the passwords that open new frequencies. When your body feels those emotions as real, the field treats them as fact. It starts rearranging atoms, people, and situations to match the vibration you're broadcasting. Science supports this. Quantum experiments show that energy waves collapse into physical particles the moment they are observed. The act of focus turns potential into form. Joe takes that principle and brings it inward. When you focus your consciousness with clear intention and elevated emotion, you collapse possibility into reality. You become the observer who commands the field through resonance, not force. He often reminds us that the field doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you are being. And being is a frequency. Every time you meditate, you're tuning the instrument of yourself. Quiet the static of survival, the fear, the stress, the doubt, and you let your inner signal become pure. That's when the field hears you clearly. That's when synchronicities appear, when opportunities flow without struggle, when healing accelerates. You're no longer separate from life. You're in conversation with it. Think of your consciousness as a radio. You can't hear a station unless you're tuned to its frequency. If you keep your dial on worry, you'll only hear static that matches worry. But if you tune to gratitude, you receive the broadcast of abundance. The station was always there. You were just on the wrong frequency. Reprogramming the field is really about reprogramming your vibration so it aligns with what you want to experience. Joe explains it like this. When you change your energy, you change your life. That sounds simple, but it's revolutionary, because most people try to change circumstances without changing energy. They try to fix matter with matter. True transformation is energetic. Once you shift the signal, matter reorganizes itself naturally. This is why two people can live in the same world and experience completely different realities. One radiates fear and sees chaos. The other radiates peace and sees order, with a right, each tuned to their own field. Neuroscience now confirms that focused intention alters brainwave patterns and chemistry. During meditation, when brainwaves slow into alpha and theta, the analytical mind quiets, the subconscious opens. This is the window where reprogramming happens. Joe guides people into this state to help them install new emotional codes, new signatures that rewrite the energy they emit. You visualize not from wanting, but from knowing. You feel the future as though it's already here. That combination of intention and emotion becomes a blueprint the field recognizes instantly. Tesla once said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Joe takes that truth inward. If you want to understand yourself, feel in those terms. Your heart is the magnet. Your brain is the signal. Together, they generate a field strong enough to bend reality. When you master that harmony, you no longer ask the universe for signs, you become the sign. To reprogram the field, Joe says there are 3 stages. First, awareness. You have to notice the old broadcast, the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that keep recreating your past. Awareness is observation without judgment. Second, disengagement. You withdraw energy from the old program by no longer reacting to it. Every time you catch yourself in fear but choose calm, You're pulling voltage away from the old frequency. Third, replacement. You install a new emotional pattern by repeatedly practicing the feeling of your desired future. That practice conditions your nervous system to a higher signal until it becomes automatic. Over time, your body becomes the proof of your new vibration. Heart rate steadies, brain coherence increases, hormones balance. The field begins to mirror the order inside you. People call this magic or luck, but it's physics. Order creates order. Chaos attracts chaos. When you stabilize your internal energy, external chaos can no longer stick to you. Joe often says, the field responds to the electromagnetic signature you're broadcasting, not the one you're pretending to have. You can't fake energy. The universe doesn't speak English. It speaks frequency. That's why honesty with yourself is essential. When you admit what you're really feeling and choose to rise above it through conscious emotion, you purify the signal. Every time you do, the field shifts closer to alignment. Reprogramming the field also means learning to stay in creation energy even when things seem unchanged. The biggest trap is looking for evidence too soon. When you check the external world to see if it's working, you've already lost coherence. You've returned to separation. Joe says the key is to live as though your future has already happened. Feel it. Embody it. Don't look for it. Be it. That's what keeps your vibration consistent, long enough for the field to reflect it back. He tells story after story of people healing incurable diseases or manifesting impossible outcomes simply because they held the new frequency with unwavering emotional consistency. The body reorganized to match the energy. The field rearranged to support the signal. That's not coincidence. That's coherence in motion. This is also where meditation becomes the tool of creation. It's not about escaping reality. It's about entering the blueprint room of it. In deep meditation, you move beyond the self, the identity, the story, the limitations, and merge into the field of all potential. From that level, you can install any new pattern because you've dissolved the old one. You become a clear channel for creation itself. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. Eventually, you don't need to meditate to access it. You live there. Joe says, when you are truly present, your energy belongs to creation, not survival. Presence is power. It's the point where your attention, intention, and emotion align perfectly. That alignment reprograms not just your energy, but your entire environment. Life begins to organize itself around your inner order. That's when doors open, people appear, timing aligns, and what once felt like effort becomes flow. So how do you know it's working? You'll feel lighter. Time feels slower. Gratitude arises for no reason. You stop needing proof because the peace inside you is enough evidence. That's when you've reprogrammed the field. When your inner state is no longer dependent on outer circumstances. The outer world becomes a reflection, not a dictator. At that level, you're no longer reacting to life, you're orchestrating it. The field isn't something outside you. It's you, expressed in frequency. Every thought, every feeling, every breath adds to the waveform that defines your reality. When you hold that awareness long enough, you realize there's never been a separation between you and the universe. You've been programming it all along. Joe says it best. Your energy is your autobiography. The field reads it and responds in kind. So what story are you writing right now? Fear or freedom, doubt or faith, chaos or coherence? The moment you decide, you shift your frequency. And the field, like an infinite mirror, rearranges to match. Reprogramming the field isn't about control. It's about surrendering into resonance. The more coherent you become, the less you need to push. The universe begins moving with you, not against you. You realize creation was never about effort. It was about allowing alignment. So take a breath. Close your eyes. Feel gratitude not as a word, but as energy rising through your chest. Imagine your heart broadcasting light into the field. That light is your new program. Hold it until you can feel it as truth, because in that moment, the universe is listening. And the field is already rewriting itself to match the signal you've become.